Today, we're reviewing the horror thriller Don't Breathe. Get ready for incredible plot twists. Three young people break into someone's house, take all their valuables. Eventually, they break down the door and drive away. In the euphoria of what they have done, Rocky announces that she intends to leave. Alex really wants to go with her, but he can't leave his father alone. When he returns home, he gives his father back the car keys he borrowed from him. At the same time, Money gives the stolen items to the criminal, who gives him information about the house where an old man lives whose daughter was recently killed by a car. The woman responsible for this paid the old man $300,000, and the money is apparently somewhere in the house. The guy tells his friends about it. Alex warns them that if they are caught, they will go to jail, but he only needs the universal keys. Later, Alex is asked if he is ready to commit a crime. He hesitates and decides to find information about the owner of the house on the internet. Rocky is feeding her younger sister while her mother is having fun with another alcoholic. She receives a text message from Alex, and the girl promises her sister that they will soon go to California. In the evening, the robber's car pulls up to the right house. Alex notices the new tattoos on the girl's arm, and she tells him that after her father left the family, the girl often cried, and her mother locked her in the trunk. One day, an insect flew in and stayed there with the girl. Now it is her talisman. Money reports that all the houses around are empty, and the owner hasn't left the house in months. Suddenly, a huge dog belonging to the owner of the house rushes at the car. It turns out that Norman is blind. He lost his sight in the war in Iraq. Alex again doubts whether it is worth stealing the last of the blind man's money. However, at night, three friends come to the house. They put the dog to sleep and try to open the door with Alex's universal key, but they fail, and the friends go around the house, but all the windows are barred. The entrance to the basement is locked from the inside. Rocky offers to let her in through the window. Alex is against this idea, but the girl insists. They break a small window, and Rocky climbs in and disables the alarm. She looks around the house and sees a photo of the girl. The boys are fighting at the time because Money has noticed Alex's interest in the girl. Then Rocky opens the door and the friends get inside. They take off their shoes to walk more quietly and start looking around the house. Money turns on the light because the owner won't see it anyway. Each of them chooses a room to look around. Rocky looks at the dressing room. Alex notices a padlock on one of the doors while Money goes upstairs to the second floor where the master bedroom is located. The guy enters the room where the video shows a little girl playing in the yard. He is preparing a drug that is guaranteed to put the man to sleep, but he suddenly sits up in bed and looks at him eerily. Money stands in place, frightened. The old man turns off the TV and goes back to bed. Money goes downstairs after turning off the gas. They come to a locked door, but there is no way to pick the lock, so Money pulls out a gun. Alex is shocked because this gives the owner the right to just shoot them. He tries to take Rocky out of the house, but Money shoots at the lock and breaks it. Alex walks away. Suddenly, the door to the second floor opens. Norman is still awake, and he goes downstairs to the living room. Meanwhile, Rocky and Money are frozen in place, but the boy decides to distract the old man and pretends to be a random burglar who broke into the house because he thought the house was empty. Norman goes in his direction and steps on the lock. Money realizes that he can't fool the owner and raises his weapon. Although he warns the old man, he continues to move and suddenly grabs the boy by the neck. Money shoots into the air. Alex hears this and returns to the house. The old man beats the boy and then asks him how many thieves are in the house. But the guy replies that he's the only one here, and then Norman eliminates him for good. Rocky covers his mouth to keep from screaming. The owner listens and then hurries to the door, almost running into Alex. The boy sees the old man closing the front door and windows. Rocky is hiding in the barn at this time. Crawling into the corner, she writes a message to Alex, who is sitting under the sink just a few steps away from Norman. He replies that he is in the bathroom. The old man enters the pantry, and it turns out that this is where the safe is hidden. Rocky sees the combination of numbers. Norman, having made sure that the money is in place, closes the safe and leaves. Alex gets to Rocky and calls her to the exit, but the girl opens the safe and takes out the money, which turns out to be much more than they thought. But how do they get out of the house now? They look again at the open door leading to the basement. There is definitely a way out there. But suddenly, the blind owner enters the room again. The boy frees in place, and the old man drags the victim's body to the exit. The floor begins to crack under Alex's foot, and the old man points a gun at him. Suddenly, the phone in Money's bag begins to vibrate, and the old man relaxes, then returns to Money's body. The young people go down to the basement and start looking for a way out of the house. Norman smells a strange odor in the room and starts searching it. He quickly finds Rocky and Alex's shoes. Norman realizes that there were 3 robbers and rushes to the safe. When he finds the money missing, the old man gets furious. Rocky and Alex make their way through the basement but can't find the door. Alex turns on the light, and suddenly a woman rushes at them. In fright, their hands touch the signal cord connected to the bell. Turning around, they see a young girl with her mouth taped shut. Norman hears the sound of the bell and realizes where to look for the robbers. The tied-up girl tries to ask the couple for something, but Alex doesn't want to listen. The girl hands them a newspaper clipping, and Rocky realizes that it's Cindy, the woman who ran over Norman's daughter. They have to get her out of here, but then they hear the owner's footsteps upstairs. Alex sees another safe, and after typing in a familiar code, he finds the keys that open the lock on the woman's belt. The 3 of them make their way to the door, and finally, Alex opens it. But behind the door is Norman, who opens fire. He eliminates Cindy with the first bullet. Alex and Rocky try to hide in the basement. The old man finds the body of the murdered woman and cries over it. Then he locks the door and breaks the key. He turns off the lights in the basement and shoots at every suspicious noise. Eventually, Norman manages to grab Alex, but he runs out of ammunition and manages to stun the old man. The couple makes it upstairs, and then a trap appears in front of them, blocking their path. A knock is heard at the basement door. The owner wakes up, and the thieves run upstairs to the bedroom, but it turns out that the windows are closed. Rocky gets out of the room through the ventilation, and Alex is attacked by a dog and falls onto the glass roof surface. Norman arms himself with his gun and searches the room while the boy lies unconscious. Directly below him, a Rottweiler chases Rocky in a ventilation pipe, and the old man is distracted by the sounds. Alex regains consciousness and sees Norman with a gun above him. The old man fires, and the window breaks, and Alex falls into the back room. The owner chases him around the house and catches up with him in the workshop. A fight ensues, during which Norman beats the boy with large garden shears. Rocky manages to knock out the ventilation grill, but then Norman grabs it. He beats the girl, and she loses consciousness. Rocky comes to in the basement. Now she is fastened to the same vest as Cindy. The man says that after the murder of his daughter, Cindy was supposed to be put in prison, but the rich have their own laws. And then he thought it would be fair if the killer carried another child for him. She was pregnant, and she died because of them. Rocky should be punished for that. At this point, Alex regained consciousness. It turns out that at the last moment, he managed to duck out of the way, and the blind old man stuck the scissors into a bag lying nearby. He manages to lock the dog in the room. At this time, Norman puts Cindy's body in an iron box and pours acid on it. Alex manages to open the front door while Rocky prays for rescue, but Norman mocks her. He's not a criminal, and he promised to let Cindy go after the baby was born, but now he's tired of waiting. Norman lifts Rocky up with the ropes attached to her vest, and then takes out a pair of scissors, cuts her clothes, and tries to do something horrible to make her carry his new baby. Suddenly, Alex appears and beats the old man. While he is unconscious, Alex frees the girl. Furious, Rocky beats Norman and forces his syringe into his mouth. They handcuff the old man and begin to think, if they call the cops, they'll end up in the police and lose their money. Norman tells him to get out because they got what they wanted. The young men go upstairs and try to open the door, but just as the lock clicks, a gunshot is heard. Norman gets out of the basement and catches up with them. Alex falls down and Rocky runs away. The blind man can't catch up with her, but his dog chases the girl. Rocky gets into the car, but the dog figure out how to get the backpack, but the dog won't let her get out. Rocky manages to trick the dog and tie it to the car's seatbelt, but as soon as she gets to the backpack, she falls back into Norman's hands. He drags her to his house, where she sees Alex dead. She manages to get to the alarm panel, and the loud sound makes the owner sick. Rocky punches him several times. The old man falls into the basement and accidentally shoots himself. Rocky thinks that Norman is dead and runs away from the house before the police arrive. Before he leaves for Los Angeles, Rocky sees a report on TV and learns that Norman has survived. However, he made it look like only Alex and Money broke into his house, and he killed them in self-defense. The old man kept silent about Rocky and the money. Rocky and her sister leave in another city. Thank you for being with us. Subscribe to the channel, like us, and be sure to click on the bell to stay up to date with our new videos.